Welcome to the Speaking of Math podcast, episode number 20 by Door to Math. This podcast is devoted to all things math education and how parents can be a positive factor in their kids' math learning. Math is the gateway to many professional careers, as well as confidence and personal growth. Find more information at www.doortomath2.com. So let's get on with the topic of the day. So I want to ask you something you told me the other day, and the title of it was Math Oil Change. What does that mean?
Oh, I remember what we were talking about. So I have this spiffy Miata that I take top down, and I love my Miata. It's British racing green, and it has everything I wanted. It's hard top. Anyway, the reason I brought the math oil change is that when I was getting oil change for my Miata, it dawned on me that a lot of the kids, the parents, all those years, when they come in sixth grade, it somehow is the junction point. When the kids are really doing well, almost always they come to my office say, my kids are really doing well, but something happened around the fourth, fifth, sixth grade. And after that, the math joy was gone. And as I was waiting for the oil change, it dawned on me, math needs oil change right around the sixth grade.
So I'm familiar with cars and oil change. So if you don't change the oil after a while, your engine's going to burn out and your car is just not going to go past 70,000 miles if you don't switch oil changes regularly. Are you saying that if you don't tune up your math, see what's going on, fix it, you're going to be stuck at seventh grade level for the rest of your life?
That's funny. I know nothing about cars. I just know clockwork. Every 3,000 miles, I need to go get my car oil change for my Miata. Otherwise, it doesn't run that well. Anyway, so back onto the math oil change. Yes, that's exactly right. Math topic-wise by itself, something happens from the kindergarten to sixth grade, where it's relatively easy. Sixth grade onward, you enter the pre-algebra, and all of a sudden, there's a lot to be asked for the child because the nature of the math itself changes.
So in sixth grade, if I remember right, you're introduced to abstract concepts and variables, and that's when you're adding 2 plus 2 or 3 plus 3, then you have this weird number called x or n that can freak people out and they can never get past that.
Yeah, actually, it's actually pretty big transition because all of a sudden you mix number with letters. And that word variable is actually a pretty difficult concept. So if up till that point, the kid has been gliding along and doing arithmetic and things are going well, all of a sudden, if the work ethic's not there or work habits or teacher confidence or something is not quite there, right around when the math gets heavy, things start to break down, equivalent of having changed oil for more than 6,000 miles, and bam, you take on a long trip or carry something heavy uphill, it's going to break.
All right, so the first question I ask is if when you're introducing the variables, that's when those things start to break down. Is there any other math concepts that are really hard for kids to get over right around that age?
Right around that age, no, but a couple concepts coming pretty quick succession are graphing lines, x plus y equal to something. After that, there's system equations, and pretty soon, right after there, a big, huge, heavy boulder-like thing smack into a lot of kids' math, and that thing is word problems.
All right, and when do fractions enter the picture?
Fraction, actually, it's pretty early. It's actually arithmetic right around the 3,000 or third grade, actually. So, some kids kind of limping along. Eventually, they find a way to get around using calculator or whatever they have to do. But sixth grade, if you don't have an oil change, very few kids can get passed by without a big, huge hiccup. And a lot of kids literally just veer off the road and never pick up math again.
So when you change the oil in the car, you lift up the car on the jacks, jack it up, then put a pan under the car, undo the oil plug, take the oil out, change the oil filter, plug it back in, and put the new oil in. So there's definite steps in a car oil change. Is there definite steps in a math oil change, and what are those steps?
Yeah, what I do in the office, there's different ways you can change the math oil. The particular flavor that I do is ask for a series of questions when the kids come in. What's been working? What's not working? And what do you have to do to make the things that's not working, make it work? And then I ask you anything else. So typical answer I would get is, well, the grades has been doing well, but the homework time is taking longer and longer. We don't know how to shorten the homework time, and it feels like the test score are not consistent, and sometimes the kid doesn't want to do the homework now, or the test score is going lower.
So what's working and what's not working, that kind of figures out what the problem is. But once you figure out what the problem is, what do you do with that?
Well, if you have a sixth grader right then there, you have 3 years basically until Algebra 1 slash word problem, all that stuff I was talking earlier hits. So you have 3 years to really take a look at the work ethic as all the homework turned in. You have 3 years to take a look at my child really asking questions and learning on himself or herself. And you have 3 years to figure out, okay, if math is really getting hard, do I have any other ways to that my child can draw the self confidence from? So you have 3 years to prepare. That's why I said, right around the sixth grade, you really want to pause everything to take a look at, to say, okay, where are we headed, and so far what's working, so far what's not working, and what do we have to do to fix the things that's not working.
So sixth grade is kind of still you have a free pass. Colleges don't really look at your sixth grade test scores, and you're not that far along that you can fix a lot of things. And once you get to high school, that's when things start to count. That's when your career choices and your grades are start to looked at. So sixth grade is the final correction point before you can fix everything before high school.
I wouldn't say sixth grade is the final point, but things after that, I believe, from my experience so far, it gets exponentially difficult.
So if I have a child in fourth or fifth grade, and what you're telling me is really pay attention in the sixth grade, because that's the time that you need to fix a lot of things and make sure your child's on the right track so that they don't struggle with math down the road.
Yeah, that's pretty close. I think when the math switches to a heavier gear, is that heavier gear, heavier load?
Heavier load.
Heavier load. The what's required of a child is the child needs to go along with that, have stronger muscle. At the same time, though, what parents, I believe, needs is also a mind check. A lot of parents, you come to my office, use only criteria they have is score. Is the child getting 90s, getting above 95, so on and so forth. But here's a lot of hidden things that they're not looking. Sometimes the school give kids 3 chances to do one exam with 2 days. So that score doesn't really mean anything. I think a lot more better gauge is the homework time longer and more difficult. I think that actually is better gauge than if your kid is getting A's or whatever the score is.
Are you telling me that the school is just gonna let it slip by that the kid's not doing good in math, and I might not even know if unless I'm paying attention in sixth grade that my child is starting to struggle in math?
Well, school has all sorts of problems on their own. They have budget cut and burnout teachers, and with our political system, not that we want to go there. I'm just saying school is just a one entity, a small part of your kids' overall education. Using what the marks school gave you as the sole gauge of how well your kids is doing on math before sixth grade or after sixth grade, it's I believe it's not sufficient.
So if I'm a parent with a child in fourth or fifth grade and listening to this, okay, this is great for me. I'm really going to pay attention in the sixth grade. I caught it just at the right time. But say my child is in the seventh and eighth grade, and I'm listening to this, and in retrospect, you know what? Everything that you say, his homework is longer, is starting to not enjoy it as much, he's starting to struggle with it. But it's already eighth grade. Am I too late? Can I do anything by that time?
Oh, it's never too late. I think this is why we're making this podcast, because I believe end of the day, kids and parents are guarding for kids' curiosity and creativity. So it's never late. You have so much power, and the love you have for your kids and dedication you have for the kids. You'll find what needs to be done. I think the worst thing you can do is bury your head in the sand and pretend nothing is happening, because then your kid has no advocate.
Mm-hmm. I didn't do the oil change in the sixth grade, like you said. And does it require major mechanical service in the eighth grade? What are the extra steps that you would need to do in the eighth grade if you caught on to this that you would not have to do in the sixth grade?
Well, the extra step, number one, if sixth grade to eighth grade is 2 years, it's a lot. It's quite long in a child's life, so the confidence probably took a hit somewhere. Make sure you could have another avenue to fit that confidence anywhere. I don't care where, sports, dance, service, doesn't matter where, art, music. Make sure there's something there. And for the parents, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, and you're not quite sure because your kid is still getting good grades. Here's the thing: the 3 warning signs that almost always come. So the first one is teacher is bad. If anytime the child complains about teacher, it's never a good sign. Teacher may be good or may be bad, it doesn't matter. But if a kid doesn't like any subject, the first thing they're going to complain is the teacher. Second one is the homework time is going to get longer. Just because the kid doesn't like something, the homework will seem longer and they'll complain more. And the third one is that it's kind of sticky thing there, but they probably gonna start shying away. You'll ask, did you turn the homework in? They're always say, oh, I forgot. Something always happened with the homework.
So more like deflecting.
Defecting, I think it's a human nature. I mean, for example, I don't like to do my laundries, right? So whenever Sunday comes around, I'm always like, oh, there's always things I want to do. So laundry never gets done. I know that about me. So I need to literally put my mind to it and not do anything else until laundry is done. So I know that about me. But then our kids are kids. They're kids because they're kids. They don't have the self-awareness. So they complain about the teacher, homework takes longer, and something always happened to the homework.
Okay, so let me see if I can summarize what you're telling to me if I'm a parent. Right around sixth grade, I really got to pay attention because new concepts are introduced, graphing lines, variables, word problems that can be totally different than what my kid was learning before. And the skills that my kid had to get through before might not work after sixth grade. So as a parent, I would need to sit down and really look at everything my kid is doing so that they succeed down the road. And the other reason that sixth grade is important is it's 3 years before high school starts, and that's enough time to fix all those problems. And that's high school is when things start to count for a career choice, college, etc. So we got to look at what's working and what's not working. And some of the telltale signs that things are not working around sixth grade, if the child is saying that the teacher is bad, the homework time takes a longer time, and the child starts to deflect. And what I'm hearing is if my kid's in the fourth grade or fifth grade, and then we're still good, we can get this done. Seventh and eighth grade, we can still get this done. It's never too late, never give up, but it's going to take more work at this point.
Yeah, we have it tough. We're parents and we're the adults. We're responsible for protecting our kids' curiosity and creativity. It is a lot of work to raise kids, and I feel it for all the parents out there.
All right, and that's it. Until next time.
Happy parenting.